Hello, everyone. My name is Ahad Ahmed, and this is my evaluation proposal for a part-time program that's conducted only on the weekends in a community setting. So these are Arabic language classes at a community center called Dar Arqam. In this presentation, I'll walk you through the purpose of this evaluation, how I designed it, the literature that supports it, and what I hope it will achieve. Let's get started. So first, I'd like to look at the literature that I drew on for this evaluation. Now, granted, there's not going to be too many similar pieces of literature because these are somewhat specific to the United States, and often these community type settings don't have a lot of research on them. So the first piece of literature that I looked at was an EFL, which is English as a Foreign Language, vocabulary study. And that showed that students gained more vocabulary when instructional tasks were more cognitively engaging. And so the specific thing that I took from this piece of literature is that it uses pre and post testing, which is a method that I also applied in my evaluation. The second study comes from Saudi Electronic University. Achievement tests were used to track student progress in Arabic learning. So this is a program that teaches foreigners Arabic. It's a good example of how formal assessments can be used in Arabic programs. And the third study I looked at was uh, again in Saudi, but EFL classes, English as a foreign language class. This study used or wanted to evaluate the use of mobile vocabulary apps, and it found that students who used the apps made bigger gains than those who used traditional methods. But as we can see, they don't. Uh, these studies aren't 100% in line with my evaluation, so there's somewhat of a gap here, and it's a gap that I hope to fulfill with my evaluation. None of these evaluations were done in the community setting, and they don't really use embedded and classroom-based evaluation, and that's where this project comes in. Let's look a little bit more deeply at the program. We've said previously that this program that I'm evaluating, it's a community-based Arabic class. It's held on weekends and it's held at the community center. So it's mainly for community members. Now, the challenge here is that this includes many people from many different backgrounds and there's a variety of ages as well. Some of the members are school-aged learners. However, there are many uh, that are either college students or at least college age students. The instructor uses structured lectures and a homework to teach classical Arabic, and so the method is it's quite throwback. There's not a lot. It's quite traditional. There's not a lot of tech infusion into these classes. The ultimate goal for these classes is that we want students to be able to analyze intermediate Arabic texts grammatically. This includes identifying sentence structures, grammatical roles, and case endings in the Arabic language. The purpose, as I've mentioned, is mostly to give students not really the ability, it's not really focused on giving students the ability to speak Arabic necessarily, it's or even write it. It's more about increasing their knowledge of Arabic grammatical structure or the grammatical structure that's common in Arabic texts, so they're able to analyze classical Arabic texts like Arabic scripture. In this evaluation class, we learned how to create a logic model, but before we created that logic model, we wanted to kind of break down the objectives and list the objectives. What are some of the early behavioral objectives that we wanted to see, why did we want to see them, and what they would lead to. So the early objectives that we were looking to that lead to the intermediate objectives were that we wanted to see 80% people attend these classes. So we're looking at attendance, homework completion, vocabulary practice, and engagement with class materials. These are all things uh, that we could easily see and manage and document. As the program moves forward, students will take vocab tests. They'll complete a grammar worksheet, identify word types and structures. By month 5, they should be able to translate a short paragraph with limited dictionary use. And at the end, they'll report their confidence in analyzing Arabic text. Each of these outcomes is tied to specific time points and performance targets. We're going to look at the logic model up next. Here's a logic model I developed for the program. So we begin with the contextual conditions. We need skilled teachers, Arabic teachers that are available on the weekend. We need well-equipped classrooms, at least classrooms with basic technical capabilities. We need printed and digital grammar materials, and we need an administrative support staff for scheduling. We also rely on tutoring access and community encouragement to support regular attendance. As far as the strategies goes, these strategies include structured lectures, regular homework, and vocabulary review sessions. In terms of short-term outcomes, we're looking for 80% of students to attend at least 75% of class sessions, 70% of the students to submit all their homework, and 70% to actively participate in grammar practice twice a week. We also track down how often students use supplemental resources, aiming for 3 times in the first month, and whether they attend vocabulary review sessions or not. These early behaviors build towards intermediate outcomes like sentence analysis and translation. The ultimate goal is for students to grammatically analyze intermediate Arabic texts by the end of the program. To make sure the logic model fits the real classroom, I have a meeting set up with two key stakeholders. One is the instructor, Ahmed Ghani, and the other is the administrator, Samir Wahid. I'll ask questions like, are lectures enough or do students need more support? Are assessments tracking the right skills? And what can we improve to make the program sustainable long term? And so this is a question specifically for administration to think about. How can we give the instructor and the students the resources that they need to make the program sustainable? Now, these conversations will help ensure the evaluation stays grounded in classroom realities. It's not pure theory. This slide shows how the evaluation tracks each part of the logic model. For strategies like attendance and homework, we're going to look at submission logs and aim for 70 to 80% participation. That's pretty clear and easy to do. Vocabulary and grammar progress will be measured through quizzes and worksheets. Translation and grammar analysis will be evaluated with a rubric. Each row has a clear evaluation question, performance target, data collection method, all designed to keep the evaluation embedded and practical. Once we've gathered the data, the question comes up, what do we do with it? How do we analyze it? So for analysis, we'll use descriptive stats for attendance and submission logs, things like averages and bar charts. Vocabulary and grammar assessments will be analyzed with t-tests to see if students improve significantly over time. So that t-test will be crucial in conveying to us whether the difference can be attributed to the instruction or not. Translation scores will be tracked with a rubric, and student confidence will be gathered through a final survey. This mix of methods, not mixed methods, but mix of methods, helps us capture both performance and perception in a low burden, classroom friendly way. When I reflect on my journey in evaluation and the practice of evaluation, there are some things that I feel really strongly and confident about. And there are some things where I acknowledge that I still need to catch up on the literature, maybe go and visit some of the lectures again, or even the textbook, and deepen my knowledge about them. So what I feel most confident about first is writing and setting clear objectives, designing simple and effective assessments. I also feel good about connecting those assessments to an evaluation matrix. That's something else. That's something uh, that's also something that we did in this class, and an evaluation matrix that's actually usable in the classroom. Where I still want to grow is selecting the best statistical tools. That knowledge is still somewhat fresh. I think uh, I could go back and learn more and deepen my knowledge about the different statistical tools. I used a t-test. I'm quite comfortable with that, but there are other statistical tools that I need to become more familiar with. And also learning how to facilitate productive stakeholder interviews. This isn't something that I'm used to, but also something that is worth doing. And this ties into exploring or considering adding qualitative data, uh, rich data that that and really focusing on how students and stakeholders describe the educational process. So thinking about how to conduct focus groups or student reflections or student surveys. To sum up, this proposal evaluates learning outcomes in a community setting. These are weekend Arabic program classes, and I'd like to use embedded outcome-focused methods. We're measuring vocab, grammar, and translation. These are all tied to classroom strategies like lectures and homework. With structured assessments and analysis, the goal is to not only see if students are progressing, but also support ongoing program improvement. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to listening to and viewing uh, my fellow classmates' work and learning from them.